is the brand spanking new DB11, possibly one of the most important Aston Martins ever made. Does it live up to the hype? Let's see. Well, it looks stunning for a start. Clearly still an Aston Martin, but far edgier and more technical than anything's gone before. And there's some clever aerodynamic trickery at work too outside. Up front are what Aston Martin called curlicues. Dodgy name, but what it does is relieves the high pressure air within the wheel arches, improving steering feel and reducing front end lift. At the back, air is funneled through the C-pillars, accelerated through the bodywork, and shot out the back. Aston Martin calls it an aero blade. Effectively it's a virtual spoiler, and apparently it causes no drag, but obviously it reduces the sphere end lift. Very clever. But let's not forget, this is a GT car, so it has to be as good inside as it is outside on to drive. The DB11 is considerably more spacious than the DB9 it replaces. There's more room up front, there's more headroom, there's a little bit more room in the back, but it's still not exactly a family car. But what grabs you most about the interior is the design. The attention to detail is amazing. I love these seats. They look fantastic with their rogue detailing. They're firm to touch, but actually really comfortable over a long distance, and they hold you in place as well. Steering wheel, not so sure about it yet. The square shape is quite unusual. It takes a while to get used to. Obviously, it gives you a clear view of the instruments, and thankfully, the wheel itself feels good, and the steering in this car is more direct than the DB9's. Behind the steering wheel is this new crisp TFT screen. The instruments are digitally rendered, and the appearance changes depending on what mode you're in. It's no secret that Aston Martin is in partnership with Daimler in terms of electronic architecture and infotainment. And if you've driven many Mercedes, you'll recognise the switchgear and the menu interfaces and things. But there's no harm in that. It works well here, and it's far better than it's gone before. Aston Martin's design has been very clever on the interior, in disguising in a way the Daimler bits and pieces, but using real materials. It's a big part of the design mantra for Aston. So anything that looks like metal is metal, anything that looks like leather is leather, etc. It works well. I mean, there's metal bits and pieces for the instruments, for the door handles, even the speakers. I feel sorry for the rear tyres. They're bespoke-ish Bridgestone S007s. Yeah, seriously. And not only do they have to cope with the engine output, was 608 horsepower, but it also produces 700 newton meters of torque from just 1500 RPM. So even in the dry here in Italy, we realise it's a little bit twitchy if you put your foot down in the Sport Plus mode. The back end certainly comes into play a lot. The electronics are very quickly catches it, but certainly lets you know that it's rear wheel drive. Saying all that, it's a cinch to drive fast. Leave it in the GT mode, the standard modes, and it flows along the road beautifully. It's quite compliant, it soaks up bumps, especially for the size of the wheels and the remit of the car. You can spend hours in the car, as we have, and get out of it totally refreshed. You got all that performance, just a finger tap away. 1, 2. So is it worth the considerable outlay? If you're in this kind of stratosphere of car buying, what else are you considering? Maserati Gran Turismo is getting old. Ferrari California T, very different car. Bentley Continental is probably the closest rival this car has, but even in its speed derivative, the W12 engine, it's very fast, but nowhere near as engaging as this Aston Martin. Aston Martin's own CEO, Dr. Andy Palmer, said to us last night that he reckons this is the most important Aston Martin ever, mainly because it sets the template for what's coming next. And the company has an exciting new product portfolio planned for us. This is a really good sign of things to come. I've saved the best till last here. For me, it's all about the engine. It's a brand new 5.2 litre V12, developed in-house by Aston Martin. But how it differs from the previous 6 litre V12 is that it now features twin turbocharging. So, no longer naturally aspirated. I can hear people shouting, "Oh, why? We like aspiration." It's just not going to happen with more and more cars. Every car now has to have turbocharging. meet emissions regulations, keep the fuel economy up. And it's certainly something you would have worried about with this car. Can Aston Martin keep the character, the personality of the previous V12? And hopefully you can hear it through the mic here, because it's a treat. Have a listen to this. Job done, right? Amusingly, Aston Martin has included a quiet start function. So, if you don't want to be waking up your neighbours or your kids at 4 o'clock in the morning leaving for a flight, you just hold down the start button a bit longer and exhaust doesn't flare on startup. It's a neat little idea, but I'll tell you what, if I ever own a V12, I want the neighbours to know about it.